When the first coronavirus case was announced here in Kenya, so many things happened. There was panic, people lost their jobs, some were laid off, normal operations were dismantled, and hunger struck in most of the informal settlements.
Mimi nilikuwa na mwalimu, sasa tangu corona ikuje niko kwa nyumba. Na mzee wangu alipata stroke hapo kwa nyumba, ako paralyzed. Sisi hatujawahi pata chochote.
In Kibera, a few individuals and organizations decided to do something in their own small way. Meet Japheth Okor, the country director for Uweza Foundation.
When the first case was announced in Kenya, so for us the first thing that came into our mind, particularly the beneficiaries of Uweza, the young people that we serve and the women and the kids that also we serve. So we felt that this is really going to affect them in one way or another. Particularly people who maybe had jobs, they would lose their jobs. Or people who had businesses, maybe the income level will go down. So we said, how best can we also come in to be able to help them? And also, how can we also help in terms of trying to mitigate or try to control that the spread of the virus does not really become very big in Kibera. We have been able to do over 11,000 masks in Kibera. That's one thing I think that really is something to be proud of. And on top of it, the women also that we have worked with to help us also to make the masks are people that I would say we're also proud of, because in one way or another we were able to make them have an income or have a way to earn something during this corona time.
At Olympic, seated inside his small office, sanitizing his hands, we found Moses Atito Omondi of Adopt a Family.
And I remember I was sitting just in Karanja Road next to where I stay, and these three ladies came to me and they were asking, Moses, tumekuja kufua kwako. And I'm like, okay, nimekuja sababu we don't have money, we don't have food for our families. Those things touched me and they provoked me to action, where I told myself, if I don't act, then these people will one day come and eat me.
Who qualifies for this kind of support, Moses?
Basically, we focus, we have child-headed families. Apparently, these families, their fathers or their mothers, either they died or the lockdown caught up with them, or they just disappeared. Another, we have families with, they're taking care of chronic, family members with chronic illness. Maybe the mother or the father has a cancer or diabetes, and they can't do anything. These are families who give this opportunity.
Back at Ayani, we meet Asha Jaffa. Asha doesn't run an organization, but she had an idea to help her people.
I have been distributing food ever since COVID was announced in Kenya. We have so far distributed food to 2,000 families in Kibera in all the locations in the constituency. And what we do is we identify families that are in need of food. So like very needy families who have lost jobs, income and ways to sustain their families, and we give them food that can last them 2 to 3 weeks. That we see it as a way of keeping them in the house and also sustaining them and also helping them continue with their life and also reducing hunger in Kibera.
We then walk down to Lindi, where we meet Ben Oko of Amani Kibera. For Ben, sensitization is the key.
Amani Kibera has engaged in the fight against COVID by doing a number of sensitization. We run hand washing points where we sensitize the community on basic hygienic rules. We also use our fashion school to produce reusable cotton face masks. And we've also been engaging young people, discussing with them on issues on teenage parenting.
Ben also shared with us where his donations come from.
We've partnered with a number of well-wishers, organizations and individuals. We've had support from the Dauda Foundation, which supported Kibera families with more than 1,000 more than 1,000 families here. We've also had support from Team Pankaj that was also doing quite a lot of distribution of food here. We looked at, they actually use the organization to reach vulnerable families down here. We've received support from the Visa Oshwal and also from the Art of Living, and also individual people who know about our work, people like Willis, who works with Safaricom. They know about our work, and so they have organized themselves individually to be able to reach many vulnerable families.
At Makina, Yasmin takes us to her superb office where she deals with menstrual health hygiene and girls' outreaches.
With support from Kibera Food Drive, we've been able to give women in the program food package, and also through other partnership, we've been able to distribute food again, that is with maize flour. And there's this organization, they've been of great impact to us. On a weekly basis, they've been doing vegetables. They have a very unique approach because now everyone are measuring on the cereals.
Now meet Job Bitange of Shine Kibera. For Job and his group, they have been telling and sharing Kibera COVID stories. Stories in our own perspective. Stories by us, with us, and for us.
And Shine Kibera, we've been doing we've done two things. One of them is we've been sharing stories through our journalism club, so that people can be able to understand the impact of COVID-19 to the people of Kibera. And from that actually led us to the second thing that we are doing right now. We've been able to connect to people from all over the world through online fundraising, and they've been able to give the locals here food and water.
And with all these, challenges will never cease to be there.
The population here in Kibera is huge. Most people depend on small economies, on small businesses. Most people are not able to go out now to go and do the usual casual works that they usually do. And this is a big, big challenge because then people do not have the purchasing power.
Everyone is in need, even those people who are not in need. So that has posed us a challenge because someone might think you don't want to support him or her.
Not being able to reach to as many people as we would have wished. And in so many occasions we've given out food and water, but it is not enough.
So like explaining to people, when people feel entitled to this food, they're like, oh, you're fundraising with our name and things like that. So they're not understanding like the whole concept of fundraising and distributing food.
So how do we know that if we have not been able to reach this particular family, or it has been reached maybe by another organization?
They also learn new lessons and experiences.
One thing I would like to urge people is whether you doubt that COVID doesn't exist or it does exist, we have seen its effect elsewhere.
Like I thought places like this never existed in Kibera, because once you're up here you feel like, oh, some things stopped happening, like flying toilets and things like that, but there are actually people living in such realities.
The pinch is being felt now, and again it will be felt post-COVID. In fact, post-COVID will even be more worse.
If you're out there as an organization, if you're out there as a person in one way or another during this COVID time, let's follow the government directives and also try our best to be the change that we want to be.
They saw a problem, they thought of a solution that will help save their community. For them, there is no room for giving up. They are the queens and kings of Kibera. They are our own. Owino Joshua, Kenen, Kibera.